Welcome to World Numismatic Finds, where today we explore the top 5 rare UK coins that might just be hiding in plain sight. In this special feature, we take a closer look at a circulating 1996 Two Pence, a well-used and dirty 5 pence, a fine 1966 Sixpence from the final years before decimalization, a 1996 10 pence marked with scratches from years of handling, and a 1996 20 pence showing signs of heavy circulation and grime. Each of these coins carries its own story of British history, everyday exchange, and potential collector interest, proving that even the most ordinary pocket change can hold remarkable numismatic value. Let's get started up the 1996 UK 2 pence coin featuring the elegant chain portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. At first glance, it may appear to be just another copper coin that once rattled around in purses and tills across Britain, but when you look closer, this circulating condition example from 1996 carries history, character, and surprising market interest. If you have one tucked away in an old jar or coin album, you may want to pay very close attention. The 1996 2 pence belongs to the era of decimal coinage introduced after Decimal Day in 1971, when the United Kingdom modernized its currency system. By 1996, the nation was experiencing a period of cultural transition, with the mid-1990s shaping modern Britain socially and economically. This particular coin carries the third definitive portrait of the Queen, designed by Raphael Maklauf, often referred to as the chain portrait due to the detailed depiction of the royal diadem necklace. The reverse design, created by Christopher Ironside, displays the badge of the Prince of Wales, 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, a design strongly connected to British heraldic tradition. Holding a 1996 2 pence coin is like holding a small metallic symbol of continuity. It represents the steady presence of the monarchy, national identity, and everyday commerce. Millions of these coins passed through the hands of shopkeepers, commuters, students, and families during the 1990s. Yet, over time, circulating examples develop a personality of their own. Light wear, softened details, and natural toning add authenticity. Rather than reducing its appeal, honest circulation wear can actually increase collector interest when the surfaces remain free from harsh damage. The coin itself weighs 7.12 grams and is composed of copper-plated steel, a change introduced in 1992 when the Royal Mint adjusted the metal content for cost efficiency. Its diameter measures 25.9 millimeters, giving it a substantial feel in the hand. The edge is plain, and when tilted under light, you can often see the warm copper tone reflecting differently across worn high points, particularly on the Queen's hair and the Prince of Wales' feathers. Now let's talk about rarity and demand. While the 1996 mintage figures were not exceptionally low, coins surviving in attractive circulated condition without corrosion, scratches, or heavy spotting are becoming increasingly sought after. Many examples were heavily used and eventually withdrawn, meaning well-preserved circulating coins are gradually becoming harder to locate. Collectors building complete date runs of 2 pence coins actively look for clean mid-1990s pieces to complete albums. In today's collector's market, a standard 1996 2 pence in average circulating condition typically trades for a modest premium above face value. However, market excitement can dramatically increase prices depending on condition and collector competition. In ordinary circulated state, values may range between $1 to $5. When preserved in above-average circulated condition with strong detail and attractive luster traces, prices can climb to $25 or even $40. Under heightened demand scenarios, speculative listings sometimes advertise values reaching $1,200, $2,500, or even $5,000, particularly when sellers highlight exceptional eye appeal or claim rarity. While such high figures often reflect optimistic listings rather than confirmed sales, they demonstrate the enthusiasm and perceived demand surrounding certain date runs from the 1990s. Culturally, the coin captures a snapshot of Britain before the turn of the millennium. It predates the major redesign of UK coinage in 2008 and still carries the full traditional reverse design rather than the segmented shield introduced later. For collectors who appreciate the classic decimal era style, this makes the 1996 issue part of a closing chapter in British coin design history. The Maklauf portrait itself represents a specific period of the Queen's reign, bridging the late 20th century with a sense of royal continuity. For collectors interested in securing a strong example, careful inspection is essential. Look for even color across the surface, minimal edge knocks, and clear feather detail on the reverse. Avoid coins with heavy rusting beneath the copper plating, as steel core corrosion can reduce long-term value. Storing the coin in a dry, protective holder will preserve its condition and protect against moisture damage. Even circulated coins can appreciate gradually when preserved properly and presented attractively. There is also growing interest from international buyers who collect world decimal coinage. British coins often hold global appeal due to the worldwide recognition of Queen Elizabeth II. As a result, demand extends beyond the United Kingdom, which can positively influence prices when quality examples appear in online auctions or coin fairs. In conclusion, the 1996 UK 2 pence chain portrait coin in circulating condition may appear ordinary, but it represents far more than 2 pence. It symbolizes a particular moment in British history, carries a respected royal portrait, and continues to generate collector curiosity nearly 3 decades later. Whether valued at a few dollars or advertised for thousands, its true worth lies in its story, its craftsmanship, and its connection to everyday British life in the 1990s. If you find one in your change jar, take a closer look. This humble copper coin might just be a small but meaningful treasure waiting to be appreciated. At number 2, the 1996 UK 5 pence coin featuring the elegant chain portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. At first glance, especially in a dirty or well-used condition, it may seem like just another small silver coin that has passed through countless hands. However, when we slow down and truly examine its story, its history, and its place in British currency, this modest 5p from 1996 reveals far more character and potential than most would expect. The year 1996 sits in an interesting period of modern British coinage. The 5 pence piece had already undergone a major transformation earlier in the decade, being reduced in size in 1990 to match the dimensions of the decimal 5p introduced in 1968 but modernized for convenience and cost efficiency. By 1996, the smaller format had become familiar across the United Kingdom. The obverse of the coin carries the refined, chain portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by sculptor Raphael Maklauf. This portrait, used between 1985 and 1997, is distinguished by the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem along with a necklace that resembles a chain, giving this design its popular name among collectors. The reverse displays the crown thistle, representing Scotland, along with the numeral 5 and the inscription 5 pence, symbolizing unity within the United Kingdom. Culturally and historically, the 1996 5 pence coin represents the stability of British decimal currency during a time of gradual economic and political change. The mid-1990s were a transitional period leading up to the late 1990s reforms and the approach of a new millennium. Coins like this were part of everyday life, exchanged in shops, tucked into piggy banks, and carried in pockets across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. While it may not commemorate a specific event, it reflects the enduring image of the monarch and the continuity of the crown in British society. For collectors, that continuity adds a layer of heritage and nostalgia that cannot be measured purely in monetary terms. In terms of physical details, the 1996 5 pence coin weighs 3.25 grams and is composed of cupronickel, a durable alloy chosen for its resistance to corrosion and long-lasting finish. The diameter measures 18.0 millimeters, making it compact yet solid in the hand. Even in a dirty condition, where surface grime or toning may obscure its original shine, the coin's design remains recognizable. Often, a dirty example simply indicates years of circulation rather than damage. In some cases, natural toning can even add character and authenticity, showing that the coin has truly lived a life in circulation. Key facts about the 1996 issue reveal that it was produced in significant numbers by the Royal Mint, yet high-grade surviving examples are becoming harder to find as time passes. Many were heavily circulated, and coins in pristine, uncirculated condition are increasingly sought after. While a dirty example may not command the same premium as a mint-state coin, demand for 1990s decimal coinage has grown steadily, particularly among new collectors who are building affordable sets of modern British coins. When discussing rarity and condition, it is important to view the 1996 5 pence realistically but optimistically. In general circulation, the coin is common. However, condition plays a powerful role in value. A dirty coin that still retains strong detail, sharp lettering, and an undamaged edge can attract interest from collectors seeking authentic circulated pieces. Coins with unusual minting errors, off-center strikes, or other anomalies can command significantly higher prices. While most 1996 5p coins trade close to face value in the UK, collector enthusiasm and online marketplaces have created occasions where select examples are listed at much higher prices. Looking at today's rare coin market value in dollars, Standard circulated 1996 5-pence coins typically range from 10 cents to $2 depending on condition. However, certain sellers promote high-grade or error examples for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. You may occasionally see listings claiming values of $1,500, $1,500, $3,000, $3,000, or even $5,000, $5,000 for exceptional or supposedly rare variants. While such prices are often ambitious and depend heavily on demand, presentation, and verification, they reflect the growing excitement surrounding modern British coin collecting. The key point is that demand can surge when collectors compete for limited high-quality or unusual pieces. For collectors interested in the 1996 5-pence, the best approach is careful inspection. Examine the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II for clarity in the hair detail and the diadem. Check the thistle design on the reverse for strong lines and minimal wear. Even if the coin appears dirty, avoid harsh cleaning, as cleaning can reduce value. Instead, store it safely in a dry environment, ideally within a protective coin holder. Over time, as fewer well-preserved examples remain in circulation, even modest pieces can become more desirable. In a positive light, the 1996 UK 5-pence chain portrait coin stands as a reminder that valuable collectibles are not always ancient or golden. Sometimes they are humble coins that have traveled through everyday life. The strong collector demand for 1990s British decimal coins continues to grow, fueled by nostalgia and the enduring legacy of Queen Elizabeth II's long reign. Whether your example is bright and uncirculated or slightly dirty from years of use, it carries a piece of British monetary history. So before you dismiss that small 5p coin from 1996, take a closer look. What seems ordinary today could become a sought-after piece tomorrow. With patience, knowledge, and an eye for detail, even a dirty 1996 5-pence coin might hold surprising appeal in the evolving world of rare coin collecting. At number 3, the 1966 UK Sixpence featuring the iconic chain portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. If you have one tucked away in a drawer, sitting inside an old purse, or resting quietly in a coin album, you might be holding far more than just a small silver-colored coin. In fine condition, the 1966 sixpence is a charming survivor from the final years before decimalization changed British currency forever, and collectors today are showing increasing interest in high-quality examples. The year 1966 sits right in the heart of the swinging 60s in the United Kingdom. Britain was buzzing with cultural change, music, fashion, and optimism. Yet in people's pockets, traditional coinage still carried centuries of heritage. The sixpence itself dates back to the reign of Edward VI in the 16th century, and by 1966 it had already served the nation for over 400 years. The obverse of this coin features the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, often called the First or Laureate portrait, designed by Mary Gillick. This elegant depiction shows Her Majesty wearing a simple laurel wreath rather than a crown, giving the coin a classical and timeless appearance that collectors deeply admire. On the reverse, the 1966 sixpence displays a beautiful floral design representing the nations of the United Kingdom. The Tudor rose for England, the thistle for Scotland, the shamrock for Ireland, and the leek for Wales, all interwoven in a graceful composition. This symbolic design adds cultural depth and national pride to the coin, making it more than just currency. It represents unity, tradition, and identity during a period of social transformation. For many people, the sixpence also carries sentimental value, as it was traditionally placed in Christmas puddings or given as a token of good luck. In terms of specifications, the 1966 sixpence weighs approximately 2.83 grams and was struck in cupronickel, as silver content had already been removed from circulating coinage after 1946. It measures around 19.4 millimeters in diameter, small yet solid in hand, with a milled edge that gives it a refined finish. Even in fine condition, where light wears visible on the highest points of the design, the details of the floral reverse and the Queen's portrait remain clear and attractive. Fine condition coins typically show honest circulation but retain strong definition, making them desirable to collectors who appreciate both history and character. Now let us talk about rarity and demand. The 1966 sixpence was produced in significant numbers because it was one of the last issues before decimalization in 1971. However, what makes certain examples stand out is condition. Coins preserved in fine to very fine condition without heavy scratches, corrosion, or cleaning marks are increasingly sought after. Many surviving pieces were heavily circulated, so well-preserved examples command stronger interest in the collector's market. Demand has been steadily rising as more people explore pre-decimal British coinage, especially coins connected to Queen Elizabeth II's early reign. When discussing current market value in dollars, it is important to understand that typical circulated examples in fine condition may trade at modest prices, often ranging from approximately $1 to $5 depending on eye appeal and market trends. However, in today's enthusiastic online marketplace, some sellers advertise exceptional examples at dramatically higher figures, sometimes listing them for $1,500, $2,000, or even $5,000, which in numbers would be $1,500, $2,000, or $5,000. While such figures are usually optimistic asking prices rather than confirmed sale values, they highlight the excitement and perceived potential surrounding vintage British coins. Truly outstanding, near-uncirculated or proof-like examples can indeed reach significantly higher prices than ordinary circulated pieces, especially when graded and authenticated. Collectors are particularly attentive to sharp lettering, clean fields, and minimal wear on the Queen's hair and the floral emblems. Any unusual minting errors, such as off-center strikes or die variations, can also add premium value. If you believe your 1966 Sixpence is in exceptional condition, professional grading may enhance its appeal and credibility in the market. Storing the coin in a protective holder, avoiding harsh cleaning, and keeping it away from moisture will help preserve its condition and long-term desirability. The cultural and historical value of the 1966 Sixpence extends beyond money. It represents the closing chapter of Britain's traditional monetary system, just a few years before decimal day transformed everyday transactions. It connects us directly to the mid-1960s, to a time when sixpence could still buy small treats and when pre-decimal coins jingled in every pocket across the country. For collectors, this emotional and historical connection often matters just as much as financial worth. In conclusion, the 1966 UK sixpence with a chain portrait of Queen Elizabeth II in fine condition is a charming, historically rich, and increasingly admired coin. While ordinary examples may hold modest monetary value, the excitement of the collector's market and the strong demand for well-preserved pieces continue to drive interest upward. Whether valued at a few dollars or advertised at thousands, this small coin carries enormous heritage and timeless appeal. If you have one, treasure it carefully, because sometimes the smallest pieces of metal hold the biggest stories. At number 4, the 1996 United Kingdom 10 pence coin featuring the elegant chain portrait of Her Majesty Elizabeth II. Even in a scratched condition, this particular coin has been drawing attention from collectors who believe certain mid-1990s issues are becoming increasingly desirable. What might appear to be an ordinary 10p could, under the right circumstances, command surprising interest on today's collector's market. The 1996 10 pence coin belongs to the decimal series introduced after the Great Changeover in 1971, when Britain modernized its currency system under the guidance of Royal Mint. By 1996, the smaller pre-1992 large 10p design was still in circulation, as the size reduction would not occur until 1998. The obverse displays the refined chain or third portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklauf, showing the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem with a beaded necklace that gives the portrait its distinctive chained appearance. The reverse features the crowned lion standing guard atop the crown of St. Edward, a bold heraldic design that symbolizes strength, unity, and royal authority across the United Kingdom. Culturally and historically, the 1996 issue represents a period of transition in British coinage. The mid-1990s were the final years before the reduction in size and weight of the 5p and 10p coins. That means this 1996 10 pence is part of the last generation of the larger format, which many collectors now view with nostalgia. It reflects a Britain on the cusp of modernization while still carrying traditional heraldic imagery that had been familiar for decades. Coins like this connect everyday spending habits with national identity, reminding us how currency serves as both a practical tool and a miniature piece of art. In terms of specifications, the large 10p coin of 1996 weighs 6.5 grams and is composed of copper nickel. It measures approximately 24.5 millimeters in diameter, giving it a solid and reassuring presence in the hand compared with today's smaller 10p pieces. The milled edge provides grip and adds to its distinctive feel. These physical characteristics are important because collectors carefully examine weight, metal composition, and dimensions to verify authenticity and detect possible minting errors or anomalies. When we consider rarity, the 1996 10 pence was not produced in tiny numbers, yet condition plays a crucial role in determining desirability. A scratched example, especially one that has clearly circulated, may show hairline marks, small abrasions, and surface wear. However, even scratched coins can hold appeal if they exhibit unusual die flaws, off-center strikes, or other minting irregularities. In recent years, heightened interest in 1990s decimal coins has created an atmosphere of excitement, with some sellers marketing their pieces as scarce transitional relics from the end of the large format era. Now let us talk about value in today's market, expressed in US dollars for a global audience. In standard circulated and scratched condition, a typical 1996 large 10p coin generally trades for modest sums, often between $1 and $5 depending on eye appeal. However, there have been speculative online listings claiming figures of $1,250, $2,750, or even $5,000 for examples described as rare mint errors or limited issue finds. While such four-figure prices are not the norm, the mere possibility of discovering a standout piece keeps collectors searching through old change jars. If a genuinely rare minting error were confirmed by specialists, values could realistically climb into the hundreds of dollars, and in exceptional circumstances even approach $1,000 or more. The key is proper authentication and realistic expectations. Demand for pre-1998 large 10p coins has grown steadily as collectors aim to complete date runs before the size change. The 1996 issue sits right near the end of that era, which increases its nostalgic appeal. Scratches do reduce grade, yet some buyers are more interested in historical presence than pristine perfection. A coin that clearly traveled through pockets and tills across Britain carries its own quiet story of everyday life in the 1990s. For collectors, patience and knowledge are essential. Always compare your coin carefully with verified examples, check its weight and diameter, and look closely for unusual features such as doubled lettering, rotated dies, or clipped planchets. Storing coins in protective holders will prevent further scratching and preserve their remaining detail. If you believe you have discovered something extraordinary, consult a reputable coin dealer or professional grading service before setting ambitious prices. In conclusion, the 1996 United Kingdom 10p chain portrait coin may at first glance seem like an ordinary piece of loose change, yet it represents the closing chapter of the larger 10p era and carries strong historical symbolism. Even a scratched example can attract curiosity, especially as collectors seek to complete their 1990s collections. While everyday pieces may only fetch a few dollars, the excitement surrounding potential rare varieties has fueled talk of values reaching into the thousands, with listings as high as $5,000 capturing attention worldwide. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or simply curious about the coins in your pocket, the 1996 10p reminds us that sometimes hidden value can lie in the most familiar objects, waiting patiently to be rediscovered. At last, the 1996 UK 20 pence coin featuring the iconic chain portrait of Her Majesty Elizabeth II. Even in a dirty, well-circulated condition, this small silver-colored coin carries history, character, and, for the right collector, surprising appeal. You may think a tarnished 20p from 1996 is nothing special, but stay with me, because by the end of this video you might be checking every old coin jar in your home. The year 1996 sits right in the middle of a fascinating period in modern British coinage. The United Kingdom was under the reign of Elizabeth II, and the Royal Mint continued producing everyday decimal coins that would circulate through shops, markets, and newsagents across the country. The 20 pence coin, first introduced in 1982, had already become a staple of daily transactions. By 1996, millions were in circulation, passing from hand to hand in supermarkets, bus fares, and corner shops. Yet behind that ordinary appearance lies a piece of British heritage that reflects stability, tradition, and national identity. The obverse of the 1996 20 pence features the third portrait of the Queen, commonly known as the chain portrait, designed by Raphael Maklauf. This elegant depiction shows the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem and a necklace, giving the portrait its chain nickname among collectors. It is a design strongly associated with late 20th century British coinage and instantly recognizable to anyone who grew up in the 1980s and 1990s. On the reverse, the coin carries the crowned Tudor rose design, symbolizing England, along with the denomination 20 pence. Together, these elements represent continuity and national pride. Culturally, the 1996 20 pence coin represents more than just monetary value. It reflects everyday British life in the mid-1990s, a time before digital payments dominated and coins were an essential part of daily commerce. This was the era of high street shopping, payphones, and bus conductors handling handfuls of change. A dirty example of this coin tells a story. Its worn surfaces and dulled shine reveal years of circulation, perhaps decades, and that lived-in look often adds a layer of authenticity that collectors appreciate. It is a small metallic witness to British social history. In terms of physical details, the 1996 20 pence coin weighs 5.0 grams and is struck in copper nickel, giving it that distinctive silver tone. Its heptagonal shape, with 7 equal curved sides, makes it stand out among other UK coins. Measuring approximately 21.4 millimeters in diameter, it is compact yet solid in hand. Even in dirty condition, the coin's structure and shape remain unmistakable, and the design details can often still be seen clearly beneath surface grime or light corrosion. When we talk about rarity, it is important to understand that the 1996 20 pence was not an ultra-low mintage coin. Millions were produced for circulation. However, rarity is not always about mintage alone. It is also about survival in collectible condition, demand trends, and market excitement. While pristine uncirculated examples are more sought after, even circulated and dirty coins can generate interest, especially if they show unusual characteristics, striking errors, or exceptional preservation beneath the dirt. In recent years, the coin collecting market has seen waves of enthusiasm, with everyday decimal coins suddenly becoming highly desirable due to online discussions and viral stories. Now let us address the part that excites everyone: value. In ordinary dirty circulated condition, a standard 1996 UK 20 pence coin will typically trade for a modest collector's price, often between $1 and $5, depending on demand and presentation. However, under heightened market hype or if marketed as a rare collectible piece, some sellers have listed similar coins for eye-catching sums such as $1,200, $2,500, or even $5,000. That is $1,200, $2,500, or $5,000 respectively. While such figures usually reflect speculative or promotional pricing rather than confirmed sales, they demonstrate how strong the narrative of rarity can be in today's digital marketplace. The idea that an everyday coin could be worth thousands creates excitement and drives high demand perception. Collectors are often motivated by condition, story, and timing. A dirty 1996 20 pence coin may benefit from careful preservation rather than aggressive cleaning. Cleaning can reduce numismatic value if done improperly. Many experienced collectors prefer coins in original condition, even if toned or slightly dirty, as this proves authenticity and avoids surface damage. If you believe you have an interesting example, especially one with unusual marks, off-center striking, or die variations, it is wise to compare it with verified references or seek a professional opinion before making assumptions about value. Another tip for collectors is to store the coin in a protective holder to prevent further wear. Even a circulated coin can appreciate over time if interest in that particular portrait or era increases. The chain portrait series has a strong nostalgic following, and as time passes, coins from the 1990s gradually transition from everyday currency into historical artifacts. Demand often grows as fewer high-quality examples remain available. In a positive and high-demand light, the 1996 UK 20 pence coin represents opportunity. It is affordable for beginners, recognizable to seasoned collectors, and deeply rooted in British cultural memory. Its connection to the long reign of Elizabeth II adds historical weight, while its distinctive shape makes it visually appealing. Even in dirty condition, it carries authenticity and character that polished modern tokens cannot replicate. To conclude, never underestimate the small change in your pocket. The 1996 chain portrait 20 pence coin may look ordinary at first glance, especially if it is dirty and well circulated, but it holds history, craftsmanship, and collector interest within its 5-gram frame. While realistic market values are modest, the excitement around rare coin discoveries keeps demand alive and stories circulating. Whether you are a passionate numismatist or simply curious about your spare change, this coin is a reminder that sometimes the most unassuming pieces can carry the greatest fascination. So next time you find a 1996 20 pence piece, take a closer look. You might just be holding a tiny fragment of British history in the palm of your hand. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing world numismatic finds and rare UK coin discoveries.